After an enormous overhaul and seriously like 60 hours of banging my head against the wall, this thing is finally done. And I could not be more pleased with it. I can't wait to show you guys. Easily the most feature-packed, over-engineered farm storage system I've ever built. Maybe even in all of Minecraft. I don't know. I'm just in love with this thing. I love it. I can't wait to show you. Let's jump right into it. And right away, this is going to feel like a repeat of my last storage video, and I promise you it's not. The system bears a lot of resemblance to that, but right about here in the progression of features is where the upgrades and differences start to kick in. So if you watched that video, first of all, thank you. But also, don't build it. Don't build what I showed you in that video, because this system is 1,000 times better. That other system is trash compared to this. But for those who didn't watch the last video, here's the gist. We're trying to beat the chest wall. Basically, we want to reduce everything that you see here down to one shulker box. And step one is simple. We just have a dropper tower coming up from an item sorter that loads items into the bottom of the shulker box. And right away, the first thing that's going to happen is it's going to fill up, right? Farm runs long enough, the shulker box fills up. And on a chest wall, normally the items would overflow up into the next chest above it, but we're trying to get around that. We want everything that a chest wall does in one shulker box. The other thing is, if we take items out of here and the farm is running, the shulker is going to fill right back up again, and then we have no way to get items back into the system. So right off the bat, we have two problems. The shulker box fills up, and if we want to return items to the system, there's no way to get them in there because it's full. To get around that, we've got a hopper minecart under the floor, angled just enough to clip up into the shulker box and pull items out of it, and then it's sitting on an activator rail that keeps it locked. So if we open it up here, you can see there's nothing flowing out of it because it's locked. And then we have a comparator read coming out the back that deactivates the activator rail when the shulker box reaches our desired fill level. And we don't want that to be completely full. We don't want it to get completely full like this and then start overflowing. We want to leave room so that we can return items to the system. So if I, for example, throw a stack of items into here, it'll detect that items have been added and it'll drain those down into our bulk storage system. I'll just do that again. We'll throw some more in here, and they drain down into our bulk storage system. So the shulker box always has this many items in it, and then if we take items out of it, it'll naturally fill back up by virtue of the farm running. As the farm runs, it's going to fill items back in all by itself. And then those overflow items head down here to our bulk storage, which is obviously going to get filled up pretty quickly. So we throw a shulker loader onto it, which puts them down here in a double chest. Okay, so now we have a double chest full of full shulker boxes, and that's our bulk storage, but we don't want to have to come all the way down here just to get them out. We want a way to request full shulker boxes and have them brought up to the player up here, and that's what this chest right here is for. This is our output chest. So if we stand right here, open up the shulker, and press Q 3 times, we are sent 3 full shulker boxes from that bulk storage system that you saw down there. And our method for doing that is pretty simple. Pressing Q throws 3 items down into this hopper, which takes a comparator read off of here, and then those 3 items are put back into the bulk storage system so we don't lose them. That comparator read sends a piston down to a repeater that is locking the hopper underneath our bulk storage chest, which releases a number of shulker boxes matching the number of items that we put into the system up there. So if we hit Q 3 times, it's going to unlock long enough to put 3 full shulker boxes into our system, and then we have a simple dropper tower bringing those items up and putting them into the chest. And the pattern you're going to see here is that every time we add a feature, there's a new, like, next problem, right? Like, you just, like it starts at the very beginning. Okay, we get the items into the chest, but crap, it's overflowing now. So let's send the overflow to bulk storage. Well, the bulk storage is going to take up too much space. Okay, then we put it in shulker boxes. Okay, but now how do we get to the shulker boxes? Right here, we pull them up through an output chest. Okay, but now what happens if we run out of empty shulker boxes and the overflow has nowhere to go? Or we run out of space down here for the full shulker boxes, and any new incoming full shulker boxes just sit on top of our hopper and despawn. We need some kind of override that'll detect when this slice is full and shut it down. And there's a pretty low-tech solution to the first half of that problem. Our bulk storage down here will hold 64 full shulkers. That's 54 in the double chest, and then we've got 10 more down here for 64. So if we just put 64 empty shulkers up here, once this slice is full, there just won't be any more shulker boxes to fill up. But the other half of the problem is that the item filter down here will still be running. So items will still be coming up the dropper tower, flowing into the shulker box, and then flowing down into our bulk storage, thinking that it can be loaded into the shulker box. But there's no shulker box here now. So we still need something that shuts the whole slice down, which basically means turning off the item filter so that items can flow past this slice into like an overflow storage or trash or something like that. So really, we don't need to detect that the system is full. We just need to detect that it's run out of empty shulker boxes. When the system is full, it'll be out of shulkers and there won't be a shulker box here. So that comparator turns off. When the system is running, that comparator is always on, and then as soon as it's completely out of shulker boxes to fill, that comparator turns off. So we can use that as an indicator that the system is empty and the slice needs to be turned off. So what we're going to do is take an observer read off that comparator and send that observer signal down here to a piston that shoves a block over the item filter. So comparator turns off because there's not a shulker box there anymore. Signal gets sent down here, block gets moved like that, breaks the flow of redstone, and prevents this item filter from functioning. And then our items sail on past this item filter onto the next slice or garbage or whatever you're going to do with it. Okay, so now we have a slice that's full and therefore powered off. There's no more shulker boxes in it because it's full. Inevitably, we're going to come looking for some of those shulkers, so let's request 3 of them now. We'll get 3 shulkers delivered to us. Now there's room for 3 more shulkers. Wouldn't we want 3 more empty shulkers routed over here somehow so that the system can turn back on and fill up 3 more shulkers to top off our bulk storage system? Do you see what I mean? Like, every time we add a feature to this thing, there's like one more thing that, man, I just wish it did that thing. Okay, this is where we have to start getting really creative with our redstone because we're running out of space. So what we want to do is, and I'm going to build this part because we're starting to get so compact that you can't even see what I'm talking about anymore. So here's our input chest. This sends our, this holds all of our empty shulkers. So we've got, we would want there to be 3 added into this thing. So what we're going to do is we're going to put hoppers that lead into the chest that determines how many shulker boxes are going to be fed into our system. And then we are going to take a signal off of this repeater here. That's the repeater that powers off when we request shulkers. So if we ask for 3 shulkers, that repeater turns off and allows 3 shulker boxes to be sent up to us. So when that repeater turns off, it'll also retract this piston. We're going to put a cauldron with water in front of it, a couple slabs, a comparator and a repeater, block, torch, block, torch, block. And now this hopper is locked, and we can fill that up with empty shulkers. We can fill both of these up with empty shulkers. And these shulkers are prevented from entering the system until we request a full shulker. So let's redo this now. We'll fill this back up. The system's full. 64 shulkers in our bulk storage. No shulker here. The slice is turned off. You can see the block here has deactivated the item filter. And we are going to request 3 shulkers. 1, 2, 3. 3 shulkers get delivered up here to us, and then 3 shulkers should have been released into the system. Where would we find them? Right here. Okay, there we are. 3 shulkers. But, new problem, there's nothing to tell the system to kick the new empty shulker out. We need something that primes the system so the shulker loader can start functioning. So what we're going to do is take a read off of this block. We're going to put a slab there and a block there. And we're going to come around here and take a repeater to pull a signal out of this block, and then put a redstone dust in front of it. And around here, what we need to do to prime this thing, here's where our droppers are. They need to go from this dropper into this dispenser. So we need to get this signal up into that dropper. And the way we're going to do that is we're going to stick a trapdoor here. This block will trigger this trapdoor. And then we're going to stick a repeater right there. And so now when that repeater goes off, it will fire our shulker box up into there. So what I'll actually do is I'm going to take that out. I'm going to pull these 3 out and put that back, and then we'll put these 3 back into our overflow. And then we'll put these guys back into here. Okay, now we'll do it one more time. 1, 2, 3. We get our 3 full shulker boxes here. And aha! We're back up and running. So the slice has turned itself back on. Item filter is open. Shulker box is being filled. And then once these 3 shulker boxes have been filled up and the system is topped off again, it'll deactivate itself once again, turn off the item filter, and power down. Surely that's everything, right? Nope. Now we have a slice that turns itself on and off when it's full, but how do we make sure that these hoppers stay full? If these run out, the system loses count and it breaks. So we need to keep these hoppers full so that the system always has shulker boxes to request. And it would also be nice to have a way to give the system empty shulkers when we're done with them, right? So let's say we request 3 full shulker boxes, take them out, we go do our thing, and then we come back with 3 empty shulker boxes. And that is where this, hands down, my favorite part of this build comes into play. And I'm just going to demonstrate this first before I show you how it works. So we can request 3 shulker boxes. It doesn't always have to be 3, by the way. I'm just doing 3. We get 3 shulker boxes. We go use the items in those shulker boxes. How do we give those shulker boxes back? Guys, this is my favorite part. You put them back in the same chest they came out of. I'm going to do that again just so that you can see there's no trickery here. 2 shulker boxes requested. 2 shulker boxes come through. I can take one out. I can put it back. Take the second one out. You might have heard a piston there. Now if we take an empty shulker box and put it in here, they get sucked into the system. This is a combination input-output chest. It does both. I'll request 3 more shulker boxes. 3 more show up. I take those out. I can take more empties. These aren't empties, but whatever. We'll just... And those get sucked into the system. Tell me that's not the coolest thing you've ever seen. The way it works is we're using the same hopper minecart trick we used over here. This guy can suck shulker boxes out. But the difference is when a full shulker box comes up the item elevator, we need a way to lock this hopper minecart or they'll just circle right back around and down into the system. So what happens is when an item comes up this dropper tower, this cauldron is pushed up, causing this comparator to lock the hopper minecart, and it's pushed up by a non-sticky piston. So let me see if I can demonstrate that. 1, 2... Right there. Okay, so that's locked, which means these guys can't come out. And then we've got a comparator in the back here with an observer heading down to the piston that will push this cauldron back into place, unlocking the hopper minecart. And let's see if I can demonstrate that. We'll take that guy out. Okay, you kind of saw it. So that's unlocked now. And so now if we put anything into this chest, it'll just get sucked right down here through these hoppers around the corner, and then this might look weird, but this is the only way. Remember, we're really tight for space here. We're going to have another slice right here, so we don't have any room for this to go around. So what we've done is we've stuck a hopper minecart inside the cauldron, and that allows the shulker boxes that we return to the system to go down here around the corner. And if you were only doing one slice, like if you had a farm that you only needed one slice for, it would be as simple as that. The empties are going to come down here around the corner, and they're going to queue up and wait to be fed back into the system when the slice requests more empty shulker boxes. This would be a done deal if you only needed one slice. But we're going to break that and that. If you are tiling it, we'll head over here. This is what you get. Same configuration. Each chest has 2 hoppers that are full of empties. And then each one of them has a comparator signal on the backside that detects if any shulker boxes have been fed into this system. So for example, right here we've got both of these hoppers feed into that chest. If this slice asks for another shulker, this will go from being full to -1, which will deactivate that comparator and send a signal down to a clock down there that basically says, hey, I need more shulker boxes down here. So let's take 2 of them out. This slice now needs 2 shulker boxes. Here they come. And then it turns back off, and no more shulker boxes. If this slice suddenly requests a shulker box, 1 replaces it. Let's say this one requests 3 because we were... In fact, hey, let's just do a demonstration up here. I'm going to request 4 shulker boxes from this slice. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, that one is full again. And the slice has reactivated because it now has space. It was full before, but now it has space. So it's turned itself back on. And the reason there's such a delay between shulkers, the reason it doesn't just kick out a whole bunch at the same time, is it needs time to recognize that the slice is now full. So if I'm just going to turn all the timings off to demonstrate what would happen. If we take an item out of here now, the system will kick out more shulker boxes before it's even had time to register that it's full. So now it registered that it's full, but we lost a bunch of shulker boxes. And then with the timings turned back on, if we pull an item out of here again, it'll kick an item out, and then it'll wait long enough to see if the system is full before it kicks another one out. And we don't have another one coming because it detected that it was full. And same as before, we've got the 4 that we requested just a minute ago for our demonstration. If we take those out into our inventory, and then we put 4, or it could be, I mean, it doesn't matter how many, we could put this many in. These will head back into the system, and those are going out the back, down this water channel, up, and into the same system that was feeding into all of the different slices here. And you could make this part of it as big as you want. You could make an array of chests that are, you know, that have thousands of empty shulker boxes in them if you wanted to. I just can't get over the fact that we managed to cram all that functionality in here, and there is just nothing to speak up here in terms of exposed redstone. I mean, we've got every side of a shulker box completely free for cosmetic decoration. You can do whatever you want around this. It's a completely blank canvas. The only conditions are that you do need to put a stair right here so that the item that you throw can drop down into that stair. And the shulker box is sideways because we're using its hitbox to ensure that the thrown items actually land down there on the hopper. And I think that will just about do it. I really hope you guys like this as much as I do. If you do, I would really appreciate you hitting the like button or even subscribing if you want to see more content like this. I spend a lot of time on these builds, and I thoroughly test them to make sure that if you build it in your world, it's going to work as advertised here in the video. So if you do like this build, hitting the like button is a super easy way to help me out, and hitting the subscribe button is a really good way to make sure you see more like it. Anyway guys, thanks so much for watching. I'm going to end the video here, and I'll see you in the next one.